was the initial inspiration or the driving force behind the founding of Children First Counseling Center?
Well,
I'd say they were Jim, Pat, and April. They were the only ones that I knew anything about, and April was a strong one of the two,
yes.
and she was in charge of everything. I think she founded it.
Yeah.
And that was April who?
April Griffith. Mm-hmm.
April Griffiths. And what was her husband's name?
And she was very, very dedicated to
Jim
it.
Pat.
Pat's her husband's name?
Jim Pat.
Oh, Jim Pat Griffiths.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I say she was totally devoted to this organization and getting it organized.
Yeah. Do you know what caused her to be so interested
No,
in children?
I don't.
No, I don't. I didn't have
I don't know.
those kinds of conversations with her about her background or anything. I'm not up on that.
Mm-hmm. Where was she from?
Right now,
I don't even know that.
of course, Tommy Garrett, told all I know about being some kind of grandkids involved, but I don't know anything about it.
Somebody in the family was suffering
I know. Mm-hmm.
neglect or abuse.
But she, like I say, she devoted her life to it, didn't she?
She did.
That's all, getting it going, and she felt the need, and she tried to satisfy that need and devoted all of her time to it.
Mm-hmm.
And she contacted me, and the city had given her given her an office up there in this building, the old Kroger building. And so she was trying to get it organized, and so she called on me to help.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put together a board.
Yeah.
And started having regular meetings and had a purpose. And of course, money was a big problem.
Still is.
And as always with any organization like that.
Yeah.
And Barbara came up. Did you get paid?
Well, I was going to be paid. I got a phone.
Well, Barbara, first of all, what did you do for the organization?
I was a counselor.
Okay.
I was a counselor, graduated from TCU and counseling and guidance, and I was considered a counselor. I continued with my degree and became an LPC,
Mm-hmm.
but when I first started, I was getting. I had been counseling in Arlington for about 10 years.
Were you a school counselor first?
I was first I was I wasn't a school counselor, I was a teacher.
Okay.
And I never was a counselor in the school.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you all think it actually started? If you had to put a date or a year, when did Children First really get started? What year, probably?
When it became Children First, I couldn't guess, but I mean I could guess about 80 or 81.
81, yeah.
It took that name, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
It was Children First when I went to visit her up in the office.
Mm-hmm.
It was Children First, and
Yeah.
she had a counselor, and I can't remember the lady's name, but they were not getting along, and she was looking for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that lady was also getting paid. I know she was. And one thing April always said, I'm going to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And we came, when I started, I was paid.
Mm-hmm.
But not much.
Not much.
Not much.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like charity work, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Almost.
almost.
Yeah.
And the little counseling office I had to talk to people were made up inside of Children First. With you could hear through the curtains. There wasn't a room at first.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't very good, but April was persistent. She got good things going.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
She was very dedicated.
Yeah.
And we put together a board.
Do you remember
And
anybody?
I can't remember all the names, but there was Barbara Sargent, Roy Robbins,
Ray.
Ray Robbins,
Ray Robbins.
I don't know who was on the board. I don't think I was
And,
involved with that.
but anything. But you know, if you'll remember, back in the '80s, mental health wasn't first on anybody's agenda.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of a new thing, you know, to people, and you had to sell
The idea.
the need of,
Yeah.
of this counseling, and we did. Weren't you one of the first to get the play therapy going?
I was the first play therapist.
Play therapist, and which now is an accepted treatment,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
And so anyway, but we were so excited. I know we made an appointment with Dallas to get on their charity list, and they came and they inspected us and this, that, and the other, and we did get accepted to get funds from the Dallas County Charities, and that was the beginning of our money.
Mhm.
And then it came on, and we've had many presidents, many boards, and all of them, I will say, have been very dedicated to the purpose.
How many times have you been president?
Huh?
How many times have you been president of Children First?
Oh, I'm just two.
Just twice?
Hmm.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of people. We've had, I'll take somebody I remember this president was Billy Major, who was a judge, and Janie Christian. And we've had several outstanding people to take an interest in this group. And they come on what we think 45 years, more or less. And we're still going, we're stronger than ever. And we think, and of course the need has grown faster than we have.
Mm-hmm.
And mental health now and child abuse, and this is at the forefront instead of in the background as it used to be and hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
And Heather got a secretary, finally, to help her. And they helped us get our appointments set. Me, and then there was a lady named Mary Neff that did play therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember, we got some other little offices right around there. We had our own little office
Mm-hmm.
where we put the play therapy, all the things we used.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do any family?
I did family and play therapy and everything in between.
Mm-hmm. Was there any
Mm.
parenting classes that you?
I never taught a parenting class, but we had parenting classes,
Mm-hmm.
and we had certain people that did them.
Mm-hmm.
You really didn't need to be have a license in counseling to be a teacher of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess this is for Barbara. Can you remember any memorable anecdotes or stories from the early days while you were counseling that you can share that wouldn't betray confidence?
April was such a strong person, and she helped me, and she was behind me and pushing me a lot and giving me things I needed, and I counted on her. Basically, Jim Pat, her husband, who just did what she said. And anecdotes were when I was trying to counsel in a room that didn't have any, everybody outside in the office could hear.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard, and but we worked through it. We started with nothing and ended up with a certain situation that worked real well, and we had 3 or 4 other counselors, you know, and it just grew.
Do you remember how many years you were a counselor? Because I remember you were You were here for a while. Do you
Well,
remember
yeah,
how-
I was. I retired when I was uh, 81, and I think I started when I was about 40.
Oh my gosh.
I came from Arlington with other things. I think I was 35 when I started counseling there
Mhm.
and working there.
Yeah.
So we
And
have
it
a
went
long
from-
history.
Yeah.
Hourly. I mean, she was always trying to get more money for me. She was very, very much of a support
Mhm.
and wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I was 35. Anyway, maybe that's not right. Well, I can't.
But somebody was dedicated.
Yeah.
For a number of years.
I think that's the thing about Children First. We've had a lot of people that are really, really dedicated to the cause and the purpose of Children First.
Can you think of
And,
any new stories?
huh?
Can you think of any memorable anecdotes or?
No, except we got into money raising, and we've raised a lot of money to.
Do you remember any of the first fundraisers you did? I know what we do now,
No,
but how did it?
I don't. I know we were so happy when we got on with the Dallas County Charities that we thought we'd conquered the world then. But of course now, you know, nothing to what we are raising now.
Mhm.
And then of course we came to this building. Of course the schools have been nice. The city's been nice to us with, and furnishing us a place downtown, and we had a church, a Lutheran church out here, and then the school district gave us at a nominal fee, the building
Mhm.
down the street here, and now we built this building with funds that we raised, and so we're proud of what we've done, but we got a lot more to do.
Where did we move when we moved from that church? We didn't come straight here.
No one came to the schools. You were where you retired.
The administration building.
Oh, then,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we were.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the nicest place.
Yeah,
that
that
we
was
had
good. That's
then.
when we first got the real play therapy rooms and everything. Had some room to do what we set out to do.
Right.
That's when we moved there. Mhm.
Well, Barbara, you've already touched on this. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced as being a counselor, and how did you overcome them? You've already spoken a little bit about that.
Challenges. Well, I wanted to be an LPC, and it took a lot of effort, as you know, to become an LPC in the licensed professional counselor. Then I was able to counsel the counselors that came in there that needed counseling, and I supervised them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that was the best thing I ever did. But it was hard to become that licensed counselor. That was a challenge, and it worked, and it helped the center because I could supervise. I'd only supervise people that were involved with Children First. I didn't have to pick them. They needed counseling,
Mm-hmm.
and that way I was paid for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mildred, what were some of the challenges other than money?
Money raising. Always.
Some things have not changed.
Of course, we started the little lunch. You know, I think that was our first one.
What'd you say?
Little lunch, was that our
Oh,
first
Yeah.
big fundraiser? I
Do
think.
you remember what year that started?
No.
But you were still here.
Little lunch of horrors. It
Little
was
Lunch of Hope.
But now we call it lunch of
Oh,
horrors.
it was horrors. Okay.
But first, it was at Halloween, and so we called it lunch of horrors.
Okay.
But anyway, we changed it to lunch of hope,
Yeah.
and it's still going strong. We'll be doing it this Halloween, so remember that. And it's our main money raiser.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we, of course, when we are going to move from the school building and get to this building, we had a big drive to get to buy this building.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we've spent a lot of money here, and we're still raising money and constantly.
And Mildred was a big, the one that kept it going. She really did. And then she got her daughter-in-law to pick it up with her.
Well, Mildred has been working on it, and you too, for years. I have heard about Children First for years, and you were always
And
mentioned as
we've
the
been-
counselor, and Mildred, of course, is a driving force.
I tell you one thing, we've had some wonderful people pass through here as board members and participants in our purpose and our drive. And dedicated people, really people that you'd be proud to know.
Because nobody gets paid.
Huh?
Nobody gets paid to be
No,
on the board.
nobody but the counselor.
Well, and the counselors, and they're getting paid more, a living wage now.
Yeah.
And you, I'm sure, were not.
Yeah, I did it. I didn't even plan to do it, and it was just extra at first. I wasn't even sure it was going to last. But I was.
No, we didn't know if it was going to last or not, if we get the money to carry on. And the need became so strong. As all of you know, the need is growing. It's not getting any better.
Yeah.
And we're trying our best. We have a large waiting list of people that need our services, and we are trying desperately to meet that need.
Yeah, and I think we've got several, I don't know how many counselors we have working right now, but.
Now we work with UTA and on their social services department.
And to get interns.
And Sammy, let me say, when people have asked me what I do, I start off by saying I have the best job. I live 10 minutes from Children First. I can go home at lunch. I can have my own hours. They treated me really, really great. And that's one of the reasons I kept going, because I went from 5 days to 4 days. And in the end, I wasn't working very many hours, but it was a wonderful job to have. It really was.
Well, now, did you counsel just in the afternoons and on weekends?
No, I counseled. I did it when I think I had Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday or something.
Did the kids come during the school day?
Parents.
The
I
parents?
saw a lot of parents, I saw adults without children. I did a lot of family counseling.
Okay.
So, yeah, I counseled anytime, but I didn't really work on the weekends.
Okay. What would you say were the core values or principles that guided Children First?
The privilege guided it.
The core principles and values.
I think the value of young lives and
The need to have it, and the people who were really satisfied, and they felt good about what we were doing with their children, and yeah, you had some that weren't too happy with what they got, but basically most of them really appreciated it.
And then you work with the police department too, with some references from them.
I didn't work. I had children of police people come in, but no, I didn't ever work with them.
I think we do that now, don't we, Doug?
Working with the
I
police.
mean, the police department.
Family violence. Did you work with some family violence
No.
kids that were maybe abused or neglected, and maybe the police referred them to you, or?
I don't recall anything like that.
I think we're doing that now.
Yeah,
so.
we're doing that now.
Yeah, so I thought maybe y'all were doing it. Okay. Do you think the initial vision of Children First has changed over time, or do you think it's remained the same?
Oh, I think it's bigger challenge, don't you?
And I think it has a wonderful reputation. That's why people keep coming, and they have good feelings about it.
Where did you learn to do play therapy?
Well, I didn't get any of it in college. Let me think. I think I went to a lot of seminars. We could sign up to learn certain things. I'm sure I learned a lot in seminars about play therapy.
Play therapy,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think it's one of the core things we do now here is play therapy with the younger kids. Did you do groups?
No, I never did
You
a group.
never did. Did any of your counselors? Do
I'm
groups?
sure. No, I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but I feel like some of them did they'd go and speak to a group or give a speech on something, but I didn't do that for the local people.
Well, right now we have such a waiting list that one of the ways we get kids in here is we have group sessions. So in order to get them off the waiting list and into some kind of help, we do group counseling, hoping to get them, into individual.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. I
Yeah.
didn't ever do that.
Yeah. What were some of the early successes you think that helped perpetuate Children First? Can you think of any early successes that kept everybody going on?
Well, the thing of it is, this whole thing is so personal and really so private that we don't take a case and exploit it. It's all
You can't talk about it,
kind of kept close.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that benefit really benefit. And but as far as it being public,
You can't really
there's not
publicize it.
we don't put a lot of it out in the public.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that
right. Yeah, it's pretty private.
Everything, yeah.
Mhm.
By law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so what are some of the major changes during of this organization can you cite? Can you think of some big changes?
Just
Well, I think we're getting better at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do. I think.
and you learn as you go, and you have a lot of knowledge that you wouldn't have. It just happens as you're working. And I think we cover a lot of different areas of counseling. A lot.
And the thing of it is, it's not just Grand Prairie that we cover. We have clients from everywhere, and Arlington, Irving, everywhere. It's not just a Grand Prairie thing. Isn't
That's
that
right. That's right. I had people come up after I retired, meet me in the grocery store, and they don't forget what you've done, what you did, or helped with their families.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how do you build and maintain relationships with key stakeholders, partners, and supporters in the early stage? This might be more a question for you, Mildred. Build and sustain relationship with key stakeholders. How do you keep people interested in us?
Try to recognize them, and we've had some major individual donors. We've been, I don't know if they would want their names thrown out to the public or not, but we've had that keep us going. Plus, we have grants. Excuse me, and we are continually looking for new resources, and we're adding people to our board that can help us in these areas.
Mm-hmm.
And these board members, I think, are very important to us and what they contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
For instance, we have a big push for marketing now. Did you have
What
any?
do you mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. Marketing. We now have a big push for marketing. Where I'm sure when you were a counselor, they didn't do a lot of marketing. We got to get our name out there in social media.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we didn't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of need for what we were doing.
Was there word of mouth? Is that how?
Yeah.
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 Did you work with the schools? Did the
Not,
schools know
not,
about you?
not directly, I didn't.
Yeah. How did people hear about you, do you think?
Word of mouth,
Word of
I
mouth,
guess,
yeah.
and I don't know, I never wondered how they heard about it. I think they maybe came individual things they had heard.
Mm-hmm. Because now I know that we also work with the schools.
Good news spreads sometimes.
Good news spreads.
Oh.
Okay, this is the toughie. What advice would you give to someone who was starting a similar organization based on your experiences? Barbara, what would you do? What advice would you give someone who was about to start a counseling service?
Well, I'm not that good on giving advice to something like that because it's a big undertaking, but they have to know their information, know what's going on, and give it to people and be honest with people and say what they had to offer and
Or what they want to offer and the purpose. Mm-hmm.
Mildred, what would you say if you
I
were?
would say it's a long, hard process starting it off. I don't think you can immediately do it. It's something that builds as you go along, and you gain knowledge as you go on, of course, and it takes a lot. Takes a lot of them together. It takes a village, so they say.
yeah, right.
Okay, I have no more questions, Barbara. You want to say any last words about
I wish I
counseling
could
first?
remember more because I know there's a lot more to remember, but I just think it's a wonderful place and offers the community something, and I can say it has grown from when I started to now. It's much more elaborate, and I think it's done a good journey.
I think we have. We still got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But we're going.
look at this building. I mean,
Right. This is a fabulous
from where
building.
you started, it's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
from where I started, I have to laugh. It's a big difference.
Because you didn't really have a room. You
I
had
didn't
curtains.
I had curtains at first, yeah, and I think April listened to all the things we did, and that was okay. I was just doing my best, and she was doing her best.
What do you think April Griffiths would think about what she started 45 years ago?
I think she would be so happy.
I do.
Yeah, she would just
She was really a dedicated person.
very dedicated.
Yeah, Mildred, I know that Mildred is very determined that April Griffiths' name not be forgotten with this organization.
Yeah.
Because she was,
Yeah.
Well,
She-
she's the only name I know.
she
And
was.
there were a lot of people that ran it. I was trying to remember names of directors, and I don't remember any of them. I remember one's name was Mary something, but I do remember April
Mm-hmm,
and Jim Pat.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mildred, any final words?
That's it.
That's
I think she'd be very proud.
Thank you, Sammy.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right,
Very good, perfect.
Okay.
28 minutes.
all right.
How much?
28 minutes.
Is that too much?
No, it was